Hi, I'm Jono, and if you're new here, I do pencil drawings. I think it's pretty well known that it's not the safest career choice to pursue being an artist or a writer, or anything creative for that matter. I think figuring out how to look after myself financially has been one of the toughest challenges of my career so far. I had a really slow start and I found myself in quite a lot of debt early on and had to work my way out of it. So I wanted to demystify what it means to find financial security in the art world, at least my experience of that process. Conveniently, this video is sponsored by Squarespace, which is also one of the ways that I've managed to sustain myself financially. The art world is unpredictable, and that uncertainty can be tough on the creative process. It's one thing to build up the confidence to try and pursue a passion for something expressive, but at its core, you're essentially becoming an entrepreneur. You're trying to build a business on the foundation of something that you love. And while it's romantic to try and focus entirely on the passion, by ignoring the financial implications of what you're trying to do, you can make it near impossible to make a living from it. In a few of my videos, I've chatted about the low points of my career. When I think back to 2015 when I was struggling, I can see how the financial strain I was under impacted my creativity. It was hard to balance trying to market my work, look for new opportunities, and produce enough work to support myself. I realized I got out of that situation by making 3 conscious decisions. The first was to create works like In Its Grip and Pupil, which demanded the viewer's attention. The second was to streamline some of my process by getting extra help. I did this by looking for tools that would minimize the time spent away from the drawing table. Squarespace played a key role in the start of that process. Being able to get a professional looking website up and running so easily just helped me to take myself a little bit more seriously. And the third thing was to start educating myself about finances. I read books and listened to podcasts and started to build a plan to try and get myself out of the rut that I found myself in. I think before this point, I was under the impression that if I worked hard enough and if my artworks were good enough, that money would just follow. While it works for some people, it seemed too risky for me, and relying on that alone didn't give me the security I needed to continue doing what I loved. One of the key points that stood out in my research to find financial security was to diversify my income and find ways of generating passive income. I needed to find something that would work in the background while I spent my time drawing. I spent quite a bit of time marinating on ways to make money without feeling like I was selling my soul. And one of the ways that stood out was to make prints of my work. It made sense to look into this, but I was worried about the prints affecting the value of my original artworks. I had a friend Sarah help me build the infrastructure and decided on a model that would work for me, and then I released my print store. The e-commerce integration that was already on the Squarespace site that I was using was seamless and really easy to use. When I've encouraged other artists and creatives to build a website with Squarespace, I'm talking from my own experience. It was a fundamental and crucial step for me to show my work, and the website started to become the hub that I was growing my career from. I chose them because I didn't have the time or capacity to struggle with integrating a store. One particular time drain that you want to avoid is having to fight with an e-commerce website to upload stock, and I found that Squarespace managed to streamline this process and make it really easy. They were really good at taking care of the small things that make a really big difference, like the automatic mail response that keeps collectors up to date with their orders, and just taking care of small things like that makes a huge difference to your own time. Selling prints took away some of the stress of having to try and create original artworks for a living. Knowing that my income wasn't entirely dependent on the drawings allowed me to have some freedom in my creative process. Before I launched my print store, I'd felt desperate to finish an artwork because I knew that I needed to survive. It felt like the risk of compromising on the quality of my work was always hanging over my head. I think the risk is always there when you've got everything riding on one aspect of your career. Look, the advice I'm giving you here isn't easy. I'm encouraging you to juggle more things when you've already probably got a lot on your plate, and that can be anxiety-inducing. There's no way that I could have done this by myself. I've had so much help, and I've had to really lean on my support networks. One of the biggest joys of having this career is having the sense of freedom to express and play in an almost unlimited capacity. It was important to me that the tools that I chose didn't take up any of that time. Before, it felt like I was at the mercy of my drawings. Now that I'm not tied down to any one source of income, it feels like the power is back in my hands and I can make clearer decisions on how I want my career to move forwards. Many of the artists that I speak to are still trying to balance a day job with a creative pursuit. The idea of diversifying their income might still be a couple steps down the line, but something that I encourage everyone to do is to keep the idea in the back of their minds so that when the opportunity comes, you'll be able to identify it. Whether it might be to start a YouTube channel, to sell prints of your work online, or even to teach others your skill, diversifying your income can play a crucial role in accelerating your trajectory to eventually moving full-time into your creative outlet. I hope you found this video helpful. This is something quite close to my heart. There are a lot of artists and a lot of friends of mine who are trying to find a balance between their day job and pursuing their passion as a career, and I really believe that this can help them realize their goals. So if you have any tips for creatives trying to pursue their passion, leave it in the comments. I really enjoy reading those. And if you found this helpful, leave a like. It helps the channel out in a huge way. As always, thanks for the support. I'll see you guys in the next one.